I feel like I always need to smile big as it like does the transfer.
There it goes.
There it is.
You've already been live for 5 seconds.
But
All
like,
your funny faces you were making at the camera.
if I send you a message, we're trying new tech things today, everybody. So hang in there with me. We're trying to be next to each other, so hopefully you can hear us better. You're gonna have to come closer to the computer. Hi,
Put my
Liz.
leg up.
We love you and miss you. Hello, hello. Thank you, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Can you guys give me feedback? Can you hear me and Jerry and Gus barking in the background?
He's not barking. He's just jingling. And we're not really trying new. Well, I mean, we're forced to try new tech things because we broke our tripod.
Yes, I broke our tripod camping. We made it camping for 17 long hours, 8 of which I was sleeping. So, really, did you turn your phone on silent so we could talk about it?
We're gonna talk about my phone.
Okay, good. Aw.
She can't hear Gus because
That's
he's not
good.
barking. He's jingling.
He is jingling.
He's just running around.
Jingling a little bit. I have a question for you. I noticed this when you took a little selfie of us 5 minutes ago.
What's that?
Did you notice we're matching again today? Wearing
Yep.
the exact same thing. Hi, Don. Thank you. We are wearing the exact same thing again. We're both in Niesman team shirts.
Not the exact same thing because you're wearing a skirt.
I'm wearing a skirt. Well, that's true. What you got on down there? It's not boxers. We're not those Zoom people. Have you seen the hi, it's good to see you, Celia. I'm glad you can hear us. Have fun shopping. I'm jealous. Has everybody seen like the video of like what type of Zoom or like a virtual meeting person you are? Has anybody seen that? Does anyone know what kind of? Did you see it, Jerry?
Yes, I've seen it.
What do you think you are?
I'm a drinker. I'm
a drinker. I just came here to say no, it's coffee. But like yes.
Mine too. But
coffee.
I also typically, because of my normal location in our office, am the one you can't see. Because it's because I have the windows behind me.
It's like in the darkness.
Out my picture.
I have coffee, I have water, and I have tea. I have 3 cups. I'm shocked I don't have sparkling water. I feel like I normally have 4. We are talking about it today. Talk About It Tuesday, 4 p.m. Facebook Live. You got both of the Niesman team here today, and let's talk about it.
Can we move the screen?
We're gonna try some things. Hang in there with us, and then we're getting down to the nitty gritty of it. Do the big.
Because it is like in. There we go.
Is that better? Hey!
Because I'm constantly looking in the bottom corner.
Right, now we can look at you guys instead of looking in the teeny tiny little 1-inch. It's like right there, like look right there in your computer. So, hey, we are talking about investment, real estate investing. I don't know if everybody out there knows this about the Niesman team. Our website is like Real People Real Estate. I think it's on our shirts. Real People Real Estate. We kind of hang our hats on being real talk people. We like to like no BS, no mincing words. We're not going to tell you your house is worth $300,000 when it's worth $250,000. We're not those people. It doesn't benefit anybody. So you'll see just how, like, to real talk you before we dive into this Talk About It Tuesday Live, you're going to get a little glimpse into how unschooled Rachel Niesman is. Just me. Just stick with this side. Like, you'll hear him talking. But I don't know anything about real estate investing. Thank God I have a husband who knows and pays attention to it and listens to podcasts and has discussions and puts our money where it belongs. Because I don't know anything about it. And so please, I'm going to be the voice of the people listening. And if you have questions, don't feel bad. I'm probably going to be asking for like, please tell me what that acronym means. But if you guys have questions, please let us know. We're talking about breaking down residential real estate options, specifically investment options.
So last week we talked about the basic, like broad, general,
the 6 major categories of.
Yes. of real estate investing. And so now, the next few weeks, we're going to dive deeper into each specific category, get a little bit more in depth with it, and hopefully I'll learn something. And
we're not going to go over a couple of them. We're not going to do all of them because we can't go over REITs and things like that because we can't give like stock market advice.
Right.
We can point you in the right direction. If you're interested, if you've watched last week's and you're interested in real estate investing and you're curious about either REITs, which is real estate investment trusts.
Correct.
I learned something.
Look at you go.
Look at me go. Don't worry, Jerry knows more than I do. Please don't think that. So REITs, and the second one, it's like when it's pooling money together. What was it called?
That's what a REIT is too, but
yes, but no.
It's a private.
Yes, off the stock market where people pool their money together. Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding, yep.
Crowdfunding real estate investing.
Like crowdfunding platforms.
Those two, we are not going to be doing a specific video about because we can't. We're not allowed to. So if you have questions about it, we can kind of point you in the right direction. So call, text, message Jerry, and he will get you contacts on who you could talk to. But we do want to talk about the parts that we know about or that we can help with, which is residential real estate investing. Next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Talk About It Tuesday is commercial real estate investing. So let's get into the nitty gritty of it. Please, again, let me know if you have questions. Type it in. I will be your voice. I'm going to be looking down at my notes because I don't even know what I don't know. And Jerry's going to educate us all, including me. I feel like a student in class. I should get you an apple. So breaking down residential real estate investing. You said an important word, and you said that's where you wanted to start. You said an important word last week. You said house hacking. What the heck is house hacking?
So house hacking is the probably the most affordable way to get into investing in real estate, because basically when you're house hacking, you are buying a home for your own personal use and then finding ways to also make money off of it. So when you buy it for your own personal use, like if it's your primary residence, those are going to be the easiest loans to qualify for. In terms of credit, in terms of income, debt to income ratio, down payment, and all that stuff. Buying a primary residence is going to be the easiest way to the least expensive or most affordable way to get into a home.
So I don't get it. House hacking is when you make money off of your own home?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we do that? My first question is, why is the Niesman home not making money for itself?
So
what is house hacking? How do you start?
About house hacking.
Okay, cool.
7 years ago when we bought our house. I mean, I guess I kind of did because technically I did it with my first house. I don't know that house hacking was a topic. It was like an actual thing back then. It was just kind of something some people did. So basically, there's a lot of different ways you can house hack. You can house hack a single family home by buying a house with more rooms than you need and renting out the rooms.
So, okay. So that's not unheard of.
No, it's not unheard of. People have been doing that forever. It's just been given a name now, an official name. So you can buy a single family home and rent out rooms. You can buy, a lot of people don't know that you can buy multifamily properties as your primary residence using loans like an FHA loan.
What's a multifamily? You've gotten beyond me. Tell me.
Multifamily residential would be any dwelling or home that can house more than one family, but not more than 4.
Okay, so does it carry different addresses?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll have different addresses. Sometimes it'll all be. I mean, yes, technically they'll all have a different address, but it could be like 123 Main Street, Unit A, Unit B, Unit C, Unit D, or it could be 123 Main Street, 125 Main Street, 127 Main Street. So it depends on the property and how it's set up. But obviously, single family home, you can buy a single family home as your primary residence. You can rent out bedrooms and collect that rent. And then depending on what your goals are, we've got a client right now that we're working with that's what they're doing.
Okay.
They're buying a single family. They're buying a single family home. They're going to rent out the other. They're buying a 3-bedroom house, and they're going to live in the master suite, and then they're renting out to some friends.
Okay.
The 2 guest rooms.
Okay.
And they're going to collect rent, and their goal is not to acquire rental properties. Their goal is to have more affordable living.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like this is trendy or trending because I feel like we're going back to like once upon a time it was all about buying these huge plots of land in giant homes, but people are starting, with tiny houses and things like that, people are starting to see that it's not always necessarily the best to have a giant home for 3 people
I mean, it's a lot to maintain.
Right.
So it, but you're building equity for yourself and wealth for yourself by owning property. It's no different than, being a college kid and renting out an apartment or getting a dorm. And so, it's really no different than that, except for that you own the property that you're renting the rooms.
So talk to me about, that's
single family house hacking.
Okay, but talk to me a little bit more about like multi-family. So a duplex or
a triplex or a quad.
Okay. And you said, I interrupted you because I didn't understand some of the things. You said you can get like a duplex with an FHA loan, or you could traditional financing. Like I'm going to come in as Mrs. Smith and say, I want to buy my first home and I have this much saved for a down payment and I want it to be this much a month, and I could potentially get a regular standard old mortgage and buy a duplex. Yep. And rent out the other half. Now that's house hacking. I like that.
A duplex, you could get a triplex, you can get a quad or a fourplex.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it.
With traditional those financing
with a regular mortgage. So typically what is considered a single family home would be 4 units or less.
Okay.
So when you go more than 4 units,
which is like what, apartments?
Yeah, apartments or condos, whatever. You can't.
Oh, condos.
Then get a typical regular mortgage.
What's the difference between an apartment and a condo? Is one have rent and one have mortgage? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people call condos apartments.
They use it like interchangeably.
So my understanding was always apartments are rentals and condos you own.
Okay.
But that's not always the case depending on where you come from. Like in New York, they just call them all apartments.
Interesting. So there is some like regional differences.
Yeah, I mean, I've always heard them as like, oh, we own our apartment in New York City. Well, I didn't know you could do that, but okay. And then they do like apartment to condo conversions and condo to apartment conversions as well. So like you can convert them. I'm not 100% sure really what the technical difference is.
But that's my understanding because I've never of it really too. I don't know as much as you do about it, but
yeah,
that's
basically you can do that with multifamily. You could do basically the same thing with multifamily properties.
So wait a second.
You could get, let's say, you're buying your primary residence and you're going to get an FHA loan. You only have to put 3.5% down. So you could go buy a duplex or a triplex or a quad with an FHA loan with 3.5% down. So, let's say you're average single-family home here in Lee County runs $250,000. That's like the median sale price right now, $265,000, somewhere in there. Well, you can buy a brand new duplex in Cape Coral for like $325,000.
Okay.
So for, what's that, $60,000 more?
Sure, but give me the quick math that I hear you give people all the time, like the roundabout. How much per 50,000 is an amount? How much am I going to? I'm going to put 3% down, 3.5% down on a $250,000 house. What's my mortgage going to look like?
So your 3.5% down is like $87.50 on $250,000.
Okay, so
$87.50 down. You got closing costs and all that to deal with too, but that's your down payment. And then your mortgage payment on $250, let's say it's $50 per, so $500 per 100,000. So you're at about $1,250. So call it like $1,400 a month probably on a single family home is what your mortgage payment would be. And then you're on a $325,000 home. You're putting down, so 3% would be 9, so you're about $12,000 down.
That's not that much more. $5,000 more.
And your mortgage payment then would be 18, 19, probably. Let's just call it $2,000 a month.
Lindsay, I'm going to get to your question in just a minute. It's the perfect segue into when we're talking about exactly this type of renting that you're talking about in your question. We're going to come back to that. Ty Hill, let's tell you 3% or 10% with an FHA loan. What is FHA?
FHA's requirement is 3.5% down. You can put down more if you want to, but you have to put down a minimum of 3.5%. And there's not a huge benefit to putting more than that down, other than it lowers your payment a little bit, because you will have to pay, whenever you do an FHA loan, you always have to have mortgage insurance, no matter how much you put down.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yep. Okay, cool. So it's not, so we're talking about $5,000 more upfront. And for those who are just joining us, we're talking about the difference between a single family home at $250,000 and a duplex at $325,000. Same area. We're talking Southwest Florida, Cape Coral specifically.
Yeah, and I'm using rough numbers.
Very rough numbers.
These aren't exact payments and down payments and all that. If you want to get into specific details, call me and we'll
there's better calculators
and I'll use an actual calculator rather than just pulling numbers out of my head.
But let's say an extra $5,000 down, and you're talking $500 more a month. How much would that second duplex gain? So when you say the mortgage payment is $1,800-$1,900, that's for both addresses. That's for the entire duplex.
That's the whole building. Yes.
So if you have an $1,800-$1,900 mortgage payment, that same duplex in Cape Coral, the hypothetical at typical $325,000 decent condition rentable Cape Coral duplex, how much is that going to rent for?
So typically they rent for at least $1,200 a month. So $1,200, $1,250, $1,300, somewhere in that ballpark. But you're safe to figure $1,200 a month.
And it's not all profit, unless you're going to do all of the management yourself, right? If you're house hacking,
if you're only buying a duplex and you're living in the unit next door, why would you not manage it yourself?
Oh, because I don't like confrontation.
You don't want to know you don't want to know who's living next to you?
I don't know. I don't like confrontation. I don't want to be the one knocking on the door when they don't pay. I like how me and you keep looking at each other to respond when we're staring at each other. So that's some pretty cool house hacking. So you're telling me I can get $1,200
a month, and your mortgage payment is $1,800 a month. So now you're, if you bought a single family home to live in, you're paying $1,400-$1,500 a month.
Right.
Now you just got $1,200 of your, even if it's $2,000 really a month, awesome. Now your payment's only $800 a month.
I'm a fan. Portion. That's really incredible.
And you could use that $1,200 a month rent as additional income to allow you to qualify for more money.
Oh, but you do have to continue to prove that you can individually pay an $1,800 a month mortgage. Like in terms of factoring in debt to income or something like that on additional future loans.
You got to be able to show that
you can support without renting it out.
No.
But yeah.
You get, so if you make, let's say you make $3,000 a month.
Okay.
Well, at $3,000 a month, you're not going to
qualify for a $2,000 a month mortgage anyways.
But okay.
Let's say you make $6,000 a month. Double it up.
So
$3,000 and $3,000.
So on an FHA loan, most of the time, the lenders will allow debt to income ratio in the ballpark of up somewhere in the 50% range.
Sure.
So if you make $4,000 a month, as long as you have no other outstanding payments, no car payment, no student loans, no credit cards, none of that, you could theoretically qualify for a $2,000 a month mortgage payment.
Okay, but in the real world,
hold on. So now you're renting half of it, and your rent is $1,200 a month.
Okay.
Well, now all of a sudden you have $1,200 a month worth of additional income.
That's crazy.
So now theoretically, if you have no other debt and you only make $3,000 a month, you would be making $4,200 a month.
And now you can go get a car loan.
Now you qualify for the duplex. So, however, there's a little bit of calculation. They won't use 100% of that income because they figure you got to pay taxes on it and all that. So they're going to use ballpark about 75% of whatever the rental income is. That's what I've been told by most lenders. So so you're not going to get full 100% income credit on it, but yes, that will allow you to qualify for more home.
Awesome.
All you have to do is get a lease signed by somebody saying, yes, I'm going to rent this. As soon as they close, I'm going to move in and rent it.
So, okay, does anyone have any questions about house hacking? We're going to move from, I'm going to tag Lindsay here.
Same thing for triplex, same thing for quad. You have to live in one as your primary residence, and then you can rent out the others.
Your question. All right. So Lindsay asked a great question. We're going to go away from house hacking, which we defined as using your primary residence, the house that you're living in, the residential, because we're talking all residential right now.
Mm-hmm.
Using your primary residential residence to create investment income. Now we're going to move into like when Lindsay suggested, when I think of investing, I think of buying a townhome and living there a few years and then renting it out. Is that a type of investing? Yeah. Does that fall under house hacking or what we're moving into next, which is what most people think of as traditional real estate investing? Like it's what the Niesmans are doing right now. We own our home and we are getting more homes to invest in. Like we're going to buy the duplex and rent them both out.
Yeah, not necessarily, because we're not going to start renting this house.
Okay, yes, that makes sense. Okay, it is different.
So that was Lindsay's specific question. But either way, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you're talking more of like a long-term rental investing and a lot of people do this as their they buy their primary residence.
Okay.
And let's say it's a starter home or a townhouse or a condo or something, young couple starting out, no kids, nothing like that. And you're going to use that and the equity that you build in that first home that you buy.
Okay.
And then use that equity. You can refinance it.
Okay.
And take out a home equity loan or whatever to get the equity out of it to use as a down payment to purchase your next your move up home, your secondary home, as your family grows, your living situation changes, whatever, you then use that money to cover the down payment to buy your next home, and you keep the first home and rent it out.
Okay. That's what I feel like a lot of people think of as traditional residential real estate.
That's how a lot of people start. That's a good starting off point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you can accelerate that by house hacking for that first property.
Is it hard to get that second mortgage? Is it hard to get the second home if you're not selling the first house? See, I'm used to living in a world where we help clients with residential real estate all day long, buying and selling houses. And the question always comes up of, do we sell first? Do we buy first? What's the best order to go into? And it always seems they're so connected. Is it hard to get that second mortgage? What do you need? What is it? Is it considered a second home? Is it then considered an investment property? How do you get a second house like that? You just ask for it?
The benefit to doing it that way and using it as like the springboard or the stepping stone, and we just did this with a client. They bought a house, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? And they, instead of selling it, they kept it and used it as a rental property. And what the bank required was that they get a lease from whoever they're going to rent it to so that they can use that rental income as additional income. And now they have enough income to qualify to buy their next house.
Okay.
Now their next house is their primary residence now.
Okay.
And their old house became an investment property.
I see.
You don't have to change your mortgage. Once you've got a mortgage on a place, you don't have to change it to an investment loan to be able to change your living situation. So they are, they now converted that first home that they bought into a rental property, and now they live in their newer, nicer second home, 20 minutes away. So banks are not going to allow you to buy a second home or a vacation home 20 minutes away from your current home.
Oh, okay.
But what they will allow you to do is make that new home your primary residence, and your old home is now an investment property.
But what if I want a vacation for my kids? So, here's the dream. So we have this nice...
Your kids aren't old enough to leave home alone yet. Actually, according to Florida law, they might be. But
I don't think there's a law about it. I don't know if there's any other Florida parents. I'm telling you, I think I've Googled this. There's a couple of states that have specific ages where you can leave your kids home. It's either that or leaving your kids in the car when you run to the store. I've Googled this.
But anyway.
But I can't get a Fort Myers Beach vacation rental to escape to with my husband. Okay.
You could get a Miami Beach vacation rental. That's far enough away.
I can go to South Beach. All right, great. So tell me about buying that second home. What second home? We talked about investment versus vacation home. That looks different, right? On paper.
Yes.
Is it harder to get one of those?
It's harder to get an investment property loan.
Like how hard?
That's why people do the springboard of, this is my primary residence. I live here for 2 years. And the 2 years thing is a tax thing. You don't have to, you could live in it for 6 months and then decide, hey, I need a bigger house.
Okay.
But the 2 years is for tax purposes for, it's for selling the property. So a lot of people, and this is another single family home or another residential investment strategy, which is fix and flips. A lot of people will buy a place that needs work, fix it up, live in it for 2 years, and then sell it. And the reason they live in it for 2 years is the tax benefits, the capital gains taxes. So that, I'm not a tax accountant, so I can't give you specific advice on that. That's your tax advisor, but
we know that
we can help point you in the right direction. Right. But yes, it's for tax purposes why you would live in a place for 2 years before you sell it.
Okay, and that's even fix and flips. I can't. So
you can flip whatever you want. You just have to pay taxes on your gains, on your income.
Sure. So they just consider it income, correct, and you're taxed on that as whatever your income level is?
Yep.
Okay. Talk to me about fix and flips. That's another strategy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We haven't really talked we've kind of talked long-term rental.
Let's talk short-term rental, long-term rental.
Okay. So long-term rentals would be just a typical annual lease. You own a property or you buy a property and you're going to rent it out on an annual term. here in Florida, they require in order to qualify as a long-term rental, because Florida is such a tourist spot. On short-term rentals, they require you to collect taxes, like a sales tax, on anything less than 6 months. So it has to have at least a 6-month lease to be considered long-term, and the state of Florida doesn't allow on residential leases to go longer than 1 year.
I think we talked about that last week, and yes. I was really surprised that you can only sign a maximum of a 1-year lease, and we'll start talking next week.
Yeah, you can extend it as many times as you want, but it is
one of the advantages of, we said, commercial real estate investing, where if you're buying commercial real estate, you can sign longer leases. It doesn't have that restriction, right?
Yeah, that's next week.
So, so talk to me about short-term rentals. So if you don't want long-term rentals, like put somebody in it for a year, have them. If you're out of state, you what? Have a property management company come, like, keep an eye on your stuff?
I mean, you can. You don't have to. You can manage it long distance. There's all kinds of ways you can collect payments.
Okay.
Electronically.
There's the tech to support.
Yeah, there's all kinds of technology out there. I mean, there's companies that own thousands of rentals all over the United States, and they're not going and knocking on doors and collecting rent. They're collecting it electronically. There's apps that you can do.
Ooh.
So long-term rentals, I mean, you can manage them. You just need somebody to fix any minor issues and have an AC guy or whatever to, AC goes out, you got somebody to call to come fix it. But you can get a property manager if you want to. Obviously, that does make life easier. But yeah, I mean, on long-term or short-term rentals, you can manage them yourself, whether you're here local or not, and you can hire somebody to manage them for you. Just depends on what you want to do, how hands-on you want to be, and what your strategy is.
Talk to me about short-term rentals. So that's what, VRBO?
So short-term rentals, Airbnb? Yeah, is more like a VRBO, Airbnb type. It can be as short as 1 day. It can be up to 6 months.
Sure.
We've got a ton of people that do technically short-term. They're kind of long-term short-term rentals here in the winter months.
Because the season.
Right. You got the snowbirds that come down that'll be here from, some of them will stay 4 or 5 months, but most of them are like 1 to 3 months. January, February, March, sometimes April, sometimes December, sometimes November, sometimes October, sometimes May.
Sure.
But typically the meat of the short-term rental market is that January through March or April, through Easter typically. So that's the busiest and the most expensive time for short-term rentals. If you're doing short-term rental, it needs to be furnished. You typically need to provide TV, internet.
Is it riskier to do short-term rentals than it is to do long-term rentals?
I mean, theoretically, yes. In that you're providing more stuff, so you're providing more things for them to damage.
With like a higher turnover rate.
And a higher turnover rate. So it may not get, it's yes and no. It doesn't get used as much because you're not renting it the summer months a lot of the time.
What do people
you do have higher turnover.
What do snowbirds do with their condos all summer long? Do they just sit with hurricane windows on them and then?
Yeah, most of them have like a home watch service.
Sure.
And you would do the same thing. Like it's basically like a handyman or somebody that comes and checks on the property. Cool. We have somebody that provides home watch. We've got a handyman.
We do.
Available to you, all that stuff. So you can, but yeah, whether you own a condo yourself or you do it as a vacation rental, when there's nobody in it, you have somebody come check and make sure that there's no water leaks, that the AC is still working, that all that stuff is there.
And I think that's it. What else do we have? What did I miss? I feel like I'm missing something, but I think that's it.
Well, I mean, it's really just loans and financing. the way we were talking about.
Can we feature one of our mortgage people? Can we get one of our mortgage people sitting right next to you like this, or on the Zoom or whatever?
We can do Zoom and Facebook Live.
After we do, we'll do. Are we going to do in 2 weeks? Do you think we are going to talk land? I have a question for you. So last weekend, Jerry and I went to a VRBO in Florida where we rented a glamping campsite. Do you think that guy just owns land?
Yeah.
It's just like
the land and he built the setup.
That's pretty slick. And then he has.
I was thinking about it. It probably didn't cost more than $10,000 to set up that site.
Dang, maybe we should do a land. Maybe we should go into land investing and have that conversation.
So yeah, I mean, granted, the land costs some money. I'm not saying 10 grand including the land. I don't know how much the land costs in that area.
But I thought that was an interesting use. When I saw that, I'm like, this guy doesn't. He probably does. You don't.
It probably didn't cost more than $10,000 to build that whole thing.
Crazy.
I mean, he's got a well. He does have electricity. So well, electricity, and a not even really. It's not even a full septic system. It's basically like a porta potty.
That's crazy.
Where like they had a full bathroom and kitchen set up.
Right.
But it was all the plumbing was run to a holding tank, and then you just have like a pump truck come out and pump the holding tank. There was no leach field or anything like that for a true septic.
17 words you've said that I don't understand what they mean.
So do we have any other questions? I mean, we're only 36 minutes in and you're trying to end it already.
No, I think that Ty...
What did Ty say? He said he had to run, but we can still answer the question.
I think that's a good idea. He said he's thinking of buying a quadplex. So is a quadplex 1, 2, 3, 4, or is it 2 and 2?
Doesn't matter.
Can it be both?
It could be either. It can't be both because then you have 8.
Can it be on a diagonal? So he's thinking of buying a quadplex, which is really smart.
It's a 4-plex. It's 4 units inside one building, basically.
He asks, do I need to use one of the addresses as a primary residence? I would already have commitments to rent out all 4 units.
So if you're going to house hack it in terms of being able to get a regular primary residential mortgage, then yes, you have to live in one of the units. Otherwise, you're lying and committing mortgage fraud. That is bad. So
don't do that.
Right. So yes, if you're going to buy it using a primary residential loan, then yes, you would have to live in one of those units, at least for some period of time. Now, if things change in the future, I think they typically require at least a year, I think is what most mortgage companies. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the specifics on that. But I think typically they want you to have it your primary residence for at least a year. But yes, you would have to live in it. Now, you can get an investment loan, like you can get a mortgage as an investor. Typically, they require higher credit scores. They require more down payment. You're typically going to pay a higher interest rate. And then you can rent out all 4 units. You don't have to live in one. They don't care at that point. And they'll still use the income, the leases, for additional income if you need it.
I have a question. Can you like double down on the house hacking and say like, I'm going to get a quadplex. Each one is a 3-bed, 2-bath. That's really, is that too big? Do big quadplexes exist?
Yeah, most of them are going to be 2-bed, 1-bath, 2-bed, 2 baths, at least here locally. Most of them, the more units in the building, the smaller the units are.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But occasionally you might find, but whatever.
So let's say a 2-2.
We're talking hypothetical anyways.
If we're talking a quadplex, so 4 homes connected, 2-2, can he live in one residence as his primary residence as an address and rent out the second bedroom in his home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then can he stay at his buddy's house 59% of the time? I don't support mortgage fraud. Like, no, be honest with them about what you're doing. But you can rent out a room in your primary residence.
Yes.
And still own and rent out the 3 other pieces of the quadplex. That's perfectly fine. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. What other questions do we have?
I don't know.
Let's scroll through and find out. Can we say happy anniversary to Jerry? I know it's tomorrow, but I'm like absolutely thrilled. It is Jerry's 10th anniversary of real estate tomorrow. I secretly, at the end of 2019, tracked down the first date of closing of his first home ever sold after getting his Florida real estate license all by himself. It was June 24th of 2010. And if you're watching, we know you and love you. So happy 10th anniversary on your home too. We know you still live there because we send you Christmas cards every year. But happy anniversary, Jerry.
Thanks.
How does it feel 10 years in?
Good. I still enjoy it.
Do you miss the car business at all? Asking the real questions.
Do I miss the car business? I mean, I miss it's a little bit faster pace.
Sure.
But I like, because it's fast paced, a lot of times you don't build the relationships as much.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you're spending an hour, 2 hours, maybe if they negotiate really hard, maybe 4 hours with the people, where in real estate you're spending on average probably close to 45 days with people at least.
Right. And you really do. I feel like here in real estate, we've really become extended family to a lot of our clients. We've really grown to know and love a lot of people here in Southwest Florida because of what we do. And Celia says, we are almost to closing with their second home. Yay for investments. That's the way to do it. We got to get moving on it.
So what else? You got more questions for me?
We answered that. Hi, Patty. I'm going to tag you. Patty. I don't know if we said hi. Hi, thanks for watching. I hope you are well, staying healthy and happy. So Leah said that she gets distracted by our game closet. Can you guys see that? We have gobs and gobs of board games and card games. We play card games almost every night. And I think that's it. I think that's it.
We got house hacking. We got long-term, short-term rentals. And what else? So yeah, I mean, and the thing is, with any of these, you can do this. We can do whatever strategy you want, whether you want it to be long-term rental, short-term rental, house hack, any of those things. You can do them with any residential property. You can do it with a condo.
I didn't know that.
You can do it with a single-family home. You can do it with a duplex. You can do it with a triplex. You can do it with a quad. You can do it with bigger properties as well that are residential related. But when it comes to the reason we're not going into more than 4 units is because in terms of lending, that jumps you into a commercial type loan if you need to
getting to that next week, right?
Yes.
Because next week we are talking
commercial
next week's
property.
Talk About It Tuesday is commercial real estate investing. We're going to start breaking that down. And included in that is more than 4 because that becomes
correct.
A commercial.
It's a commercial loan. And so technically it's a commercial property that's used for residential purposes. It would be like an apartment building is similar to like a hotel, basically.
Okay.
So for lending purposes, if it's less than 4 units that you own, or 4 units or less that you own, then you're considered a regular residential mortgage, whether it be primary residence, a second home, or an investment property. And most lenders typically will allow you the up to 5 to 8. It depends on the lender. But if I remember correctly, Fannie Mae guidelines, you can have up to 8 properties, up to 8 mortgages in your name. So, I could have 8, you could have 8, so we could have 16 between the two of us before we have to get like a commercial type loan.
Can we get like a third spouse properties to get 24? I think that starts getting illegal. Yeah, you can't marry 3 people. Yeah, can you marry 3 people?
No, you can't marry more than one person, I don't think. I'm pretty sure they haven't legalized that.
Oh, that's a shame. That's too bad.
I mean,
24. You can have I just keep multiplying by 8 in my mind.
You can have a third person. Whatever your relationship is with that person, you can have a third person involved in your investment program.
I'm watching too much Big Love right now. So next week, talk about it Tuesday, commercial real estate investing broken down, 4 p.m. Facebook Live right here. And let's see if John has. Hi. And I don't know if you guys know this or not. We do have a little YouTube channel. If you want to follow us, just search for Jerry's name. It's Jerry Niesman, JerryNiesman. Drop that into YouTube and you'll see his face, shining little face.
You're on my Facebook page, so you can very easily just copy the name and paste it. If you have a hard time
spelling. Oh yeah, you can do that. You can do it. And you might be able to go
Did you just say is you?
Yeah, my apologies. I said I don't know everything. Listen, we are the Real Talk people here, so that's how I'm talking. I think you might be able to link over. I'll check when I log off of here. You might be able to link to our YouTube channel from our business Facebook page. Look, we ain't typically on our business page. We have it. It exists. We appreciate all of the reviews, and we put our new listings on there, and people follow it and stuff like that. But we love staying connected with people on our personal pages because we're always there. And thanks for throwing me under the bus, Aunt Darlene. Love you. And but follow our YouTube channel, because if you've missed any of these Talk About It Tuesdays or home tours, I am dropping them onto our YouTube channel. You'll see if Jerry's in looking at houses or anything like that. We are not going to be doing a home tour tomorrow because we have got to celebrate Jerry's 10th anniversary. So I'm taking him out to celebrate tomorrow night. And yeah, 10th anniversary in real estate. Congratulations, Jerry. I'm very proud of you. We've helped about 500 families so far, and I look forward to doing it again. Let's double down, man. Let's make it 1,000. So if you need anything from us,
in less than another 10 years.
Yeah, it won't take. Yeah, it won't take. Yeah, there's a learning curve in the beginning.
I don't want to work another 10 years.
We're ready for residential real estate investing. And so we're working on that too. If you have any questions about it, please message us. You can call Jerry. He's the one who obviously knows these things. You can call me to say hi or listen. I have a killer chocolate cake recipe. So if you want anything from me, you can hit me up at 239-628-8310. You can call Jerry with his you can call Jerry at 239-201-9583, right? Did I get it? Did get it so fast.
201-9583, yeah.
239-201-9583 is Jerry for all of your commercial, residential, or investing questions. And
John, twice. Technically, we just wrote our contract for the 3rd time.
That's three. Hat trick with the
buy
family.
Buy the condo, sell the condo, buy a new condo.
A perfect example of clients who have become extended family of ours. Yeah, I love it. Email is jerryniesman@gmail.com. And can we give a little shout out to Keller Williams? We love our brokerage. I don't know if everybody, so as we're talking a little bit about Jerry's last 10-year path, he started with a new home builder, which we got a great amount of experience and really enjoyed our time there. And about the 5-year, 6-year mark, we realized we couldn't offer full service to our clients. And so we knew we had to move into We haven't
closed on either one of those two, but we just got the contract signed on the 3rd one. So you're under, technically it's only once so far because you've only closed one. We got 2 more we're under contract on, we're working on.
In the next 45 days. Oh, we said, listen, we've been talking about, we'll have to do it the next one. We'll do a market update. So the next 2 weeks next week is commercial real estate investing broken down.
Are we doing
the
that
following
next week?
Tuesday? Yeah, because we said it like 8,000 times over the last 45 minutes. We got to stick with it. Always do what we say we're going to do. So we'll do the next week, which let me give you a date. You can put it in your calendar. It is
so the 30th.
July
is commercial
7th.
investing.
I can't believe it's July, y'all. Oh my gosh, we made it. Maybe. We got a week left. I'm like, oh God, don't tempt fate. July, the first Tuesday in July, put it in your calendar. It will be our market update. We are going to review all of the numbers that happened in Southwest Florida for the month of May. So it takes them, who is it, NAR, Florida,
National Association of Realtors, Florida.
We get our statistics like a month after the fact. It's just the way that the situation happens because they have to like do all the calculations and what went through and stuff like that. So we're going to review. Next week is commercial real estate investing. The following Tuesday, we're going to be giving you a market update so you can stay up to date on the numbers and know what's selling, how's it selling, where is it selling, how's it not, how home prices compare to last year's July.
So last month and month over month and year over year.
Yes. That. Yep. And I love your suggestion, Ms. Dixon. Maybe I should do a cooking channel. Oh, I will bake it up, you better believe. Actually, we do, me and the kids. So our kids are home with us, obviously. They're 8 and 10. They're home with us all the time since the COVID. So they've no summer camp, no school or anything. And I do Foodie Friday with them. Every Friday, we get into the kitchen and I teach them some cooking or baking skill. I could go live on that. I could do a little Foodie Friday. You just have to have like me and the gaggle of children that come along with it. And so, yeah, I'd like that. That would be fun. And so, yes, YouTube, Jerry Niesman. And here, if you haven't been to the Niesman team at Keller Williams, Fort Myers, and the Island, if you're here on Jerry's Facebook page somewhere right now, click over to it and like give us a like, and you'll see we post like one thing every 2 months, so don't feel like you're gonna get flooded.
No, we don't. We post any new listings.
Every once in a while, we post
price changes, stuff like that.
Yeah, but so make sure you like our Facebook page, our business page, if you haven't already. And hi, it's good to see you, Tammy. Drop it in your calendar if you want to join us next Tuesday and the Tuesday after to talk commercial real estate investing and to talk about the market update for May of 2020 and see what the numbers look like. And feel free to send us a message. I mean, if you're here watching us on Facebook, just click Messenger. You can all messenger us a message. If you have a question for Jerry about anything real in the world, real estate related, if you have a question for me about my best tips and tricks for cleaning a kitchen, like I'm happy to share. Magic eraser all the way. And yeah, I'm going to drop this onto probably by tomorrow. I'm going to drop this video on residential real estate investing onto our YouTube channel so you can watch it in full. And so send us a message, call us, text us, email us. I think you guys have all the things. Thank you guys so much for joining us and watching us and talking about it. And thank you for everybody who wished Jerry a happy 10th anniversary in real estate. We're so excited.
Why is your mom calling us when you're on video? She should be watching the video.
She's in an airport. I'll give her a little bit of like slack on it. She's flying.
Got nothing to do then.
That's right. I'm gonna go hang up and call my mom and tell her off and be like, listen, we got nothing else to do. Why aren't you watching us? Thank you guys so much. We love you all. Send us a message if you have questions or just to say hi, and we will see you guys soon. So bye.
Bye,
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm gonna like freeze frame my face while I try and find the end. Nope.